we have a story from that often explosive nexus between the personal and the political. It involves hair, specifically the hairstyles of young African Americans.
Fired for her natural hair. That's what one former news anchor says happened to her while working in Jackson, Mississippi.
A referee at a high school wrestling match in New Jersey told a wrestler he had to cut his dreadlocks or forfeit the match.
DeAndre is being forced to either cut his hair or face an in-school suspension.
According to school administrators, the way she styles her hair is a violation of student conduct.
They just say, you should change your hair, you should make it straight, because it's too puffy.
Anti-Black hair sentiment goes back to when the first Africans were, put on a boat and brought here. And we were given neither the time nor the resources to care for our bodies, let alone our hair. And we saw that sentiment happening even with the invention of the pressing comb. You have, the 80s and 90s, you have perms and those perm commercials everywhere, just for me,
Hair so soft, silky, and free. I want something just for me. Just for me. No light conditioning relaxer cream.
This idea that you have to put a chemical that can hurt you and burn you on your hair so that it can be beautiful. But we bought the lie. And so mass media played a huge role in that. Television commercials and magazines showing, Black women flipping their hair like this and smiling, and they're so happy because their hair is no longer in its natural state. That contributed to anti-Black hair sentiment in the United States. It's been everywhere and it's still here. It's corporations saying that, we're not going to give you a raise because you changed your hair, or you're going to get fired unless you take those braids out, or you're not going to graduate from school because you have locks.
The EEOC is responsible for enforcing federal laws regarding discrimination or harassment in workplaces across the United States. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 makes it illegal for employers to discriminate against a person on the basis of race, color, religion, sex, or nationality. In January of 2020, California began enforcing Senate Bill 188 to expand the characteristics associated with race and to prohibit discrimination based on hairstyles and hair textures in workplaces and schools. Introduced as the CROWN Act, which is an acronym for Create a Respectful Open World for Natural Hair, this law has since been approved by 6 states to prohibit discrimination based on hairstyle and hair texture. With these anti-discrimination laws in place, there is still a major issue of discrimination within one of the most notable places of work in California, Hollywood. Many actresses and models have spoken out against colorism and hair discrimination within the entertainment industry. These issues are then reflected in the media that we consume and continue to enforce the notion that Blackness is unappealing and unacceptable.
Being a dark-skinned girl is tough enough. Doesn't matter if you have a great body or your hair's on, it doesn't matter. Being dark-skinned, we're always shunned. Dark-skinned girls are not on the top of the list. I kept telling people, hey, I'm thinking about cutting my hair and going natural. And everyone's response, friends and family said, no, don't do it. You'll regret it. You're going to hate it. You're a dark-skinned girl. And then you want to go natural? And then you cut your hair? It's like you're lowering your chances. For society, it's like I'm lowering my chances because you're literally doing everything they told you not to do.
Once I cut my hair, I wasn't sure how it would affect casting. And I was frankly very concerned that maybe I wasn't going to get as many auditions or book as many projects.
When it came to having my afro, I would be told that I might have to change. Like, okay, you look like you'd be good. But the moment I cut my hair, I blew up, as in blew up. The acting gig started pouring in, the modeling gig started pouring in. It was insane. And I only noticed this change after I cut my hair and I went completely bald. But then I do get typecast. I get typecast for edgy, funky, cool, which is fine, but then they don't come to me for mom roles.
in terms of me being the lead with short natural hair, not so much. In terms of me being the love interest with short natural hair, not so much. So I do think that although the industry is somewhat open to natural hair, there still seem to be certain types of roles you can get with certain types of natural hair. If you look at commercials, you see a lot of bright-skinned Black women with bouncy curls that aren't super kinky. You do not see as many women with my type of hair on commercials selling products.
When I had my fro, I would make sure if I had an addition, I had to go with the cutest fro style I could have. I couldn't just go with my fro naturally, just little Afro pick. I couldn't do that. I had to make sure I tied it in a cute bun, did some cute little sides, but I always had to like step it up. So that's why I feel like it's not fair that, yes, you can be natural, but you have to be a certain type of natural to be accepted.
I feel for us as a people, because it feels like there's still this hierarchy when it comes to natural hair. I've been rocking an Afro the last week, and I don't think, or I don't know that I would go into an audition or a meeting with my Afro if that's not the picture I had presented to them beforehand. Because Afros are powerful and they make a serious statement. And so you have connotations of the Black Power movement, and some people aren't comfortable with that. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but I would definitely have to think about the potential consequences of making that move.
Recently, there has been a great shift in the representations of dark-skinned actresses and models wearing their natural hair. But what happens once they make it past casting discrimination? They could potentially end up in the chairs of an on-set stylist who is inexperienced with natural hair textures and has no clue how to care for it.
The struggle is real. It's really, really real, because they will have us natural ladies looking crazy. I make sure I have my hair looking ready when I go.
Whenever I went on set for a commercial, a TV show, I made sure my hair was done.
If my hair's in braids, they don't have to do anything to it. They don't have to touch it. They don't have to curl it. They don't have to do nothing. I just come ready until I feel like I'm established in the industry. And then I can bring on a hairstylist or do it myself or whatever the case is, you know.
So just usually like, you know, you just see them poking, trying to pretend like they're doing something, but they're not doing anything. It's bad. The worst is they'll have commercials. I've seen so many commercials and videos where the hair is uncombed. It's uncombed, it's not kept, and it's just like, why did you let her go on stage looking like that? No one said anything.
But I remember I did a commercial. I will not say the name of the brand. And, you know, left my house. My housemate saw my hair. It was fine. It was perfect. Got to the studio. The hairstylist, white woman, is just like, oh, okay. And I was like, you know what? Like, you don't even need to. I think my hair is good because I've had some bad experience. I think we're good. She's like, no, I wanna. And she puts on the hairspray like that has moisture on it.
She put out a bottle of spray. I was like, what are you gonna use that for? Like, you can't use that on natural. And she was like, oh, okay. But then 5 minutes later proceeds to try and take a brush and the sprays. I was like, what are you doing? I was like, thinking in my head, you didn't just hear me when I said you can't do that?
So you're gonna kink out my hair when it's, and so she does that, and I'm just, you know, standing up for my hair. And she was like, oh, okay, you're gonna be difficult, and goes and grabs the director, who then comes into the room. I hear there's a problem.
We had to wear wigs and ponytails in the shows, and we had to have our hair a certain way for the wigs to fit and the ponytails to fit, right? So sometimes they wanted you to change the front of your hair, and I was like, I can't do that. And they were like, why not? And I said, I'm Black. That's not how my hair works. Because, you know, I didn't have that supposed good hair. My hair was kinky. It needed a whole 24 hours to lay, okay? And then we're about to do a 2-hour show and sweat all that out. That's not how my hair, they were like, oh, Okay.
And so that's why I always choose to just have my hair ready, and I'll make sure I bring my goodie bag for hair.
You're on a professional set and you're in a union. They're paying you lots of money to take care of me. When we go in, we have to bring our own stuff. And the white actresses and the other actresses, they don't have to do that. Not being able to do Black women's hair on a professional television set is discrimination.
You call yourself a hairstylist and you say you do natural hair, but you really don't specialize and you just do hair. I really do think it's wrong. I've always had the ideology that anybody should be able to sit in your chair regardless of what ethnicity, unless you are catering to a specific ethnicity or a particular type of hair, which a lot of people do.
Whoever runs these departments, they obviously don't care enough to prioritize Black hair. Meanwhile, you've got legions of Black women hairstylists who know how to do our hair who aren't in the unions. We talk about inclusion writers, right? And people say, any set that I'm on as an actor has to be inclusive. Okay, we need some hair inclusion writers. We need to make sure everybody can do everybody's hair and makeup. If not, if you're not diverse, if you don't take your craft seriously enough to be able to serve anyone who might sit in your chair, you don't deserve to have that chair.
Even the stylists that we have today, Dr. Carrie Williams, Felicia Leatherwood, they worked for years, and I mean years, to get where they are to even getting into the industry. Right now, Felicia is making way for more natural hairstylists to come in, because had she not and other people, referred other people into the industry, we would still have even less, and we don't have that many right now.
As more and more dark-skinned women begin to gain the spotlight and choose to wear their natural hair proudly, there are still underlying issues within the entertainment industry that must be addressed, because representation is important both in front of the camera as well as behind the scenes.
We are in a time where there is a transition. It's slow, but it's a transition.
The more the media can continue to show these images of Black women in their natural hair, the more it's going to be normalized to some people.
I'm happy that now we have more representation in movies and music and just everything,
There is nothing unprofessional about us. As a Black culture and a Black people, our hair is not the stigma of unprofessional.
I think the media has an opportunity, not just an obligation, but an opportunity to show Black hair in its beauty and its glory, and to make up for all the years that it has said that there's only one way to be beautiful with Black hair, and to say, actually, there are so many different ways to be beautiful with Black hair.